Hey everybody, this is No Arrows. Today we got Drifter from Image Comics, and it's by Ivan Brandon and Nick Klein. And these two guys, I guess, have worked on other things before, but I think they did like a Viking comic, but I've never read that, so this is like my first exposure to this team. And right off the bat, you immediately notice that the art is very good. Nick Klein, he does his own. Let me just fact check this before I say it. Yeah, he does the colors too. He does the colors and the he does everything, and it just looks really, really good. It's a really good looking comic, and it's a sci-fi comic about this guy who comes to this planet. It's actually a lot like Copperhead in the beginning. Like, I was actually thinking it was a complete Copperhead ripoff. It's like him coming to this planet, and it's like a desert planet, and he meets up with, local law enforcement, and then he, goes out into the desert, and there's, like, native aliens out there and stuff. But, it quickly, it does set itself apart from Copperhead as it goes on, with like some different things. It's very Copperhead's much more of a character-driven story, and this one is a lot more about the planet, really. Like the planet, it's one of those stories where the planet is the main character, and I kind of like those sort of things. Like it really establishes not really the lore. There's not really much lore, I guess, but it paints the setting really in like really strong detail. Yeah. Let me move this comic over here a little bit closer. And that's not to say the characters are weak or anything, but they are sort of like, they're just sort of there. Like, they're not really the focus of the story, at least not yet. And, there's like these guys who live in the desert, and they're sort of weird, and there's sort of a few different characters. Like, there's the main guy, and then there's like this cop woman who sort of befriends him, and then there's like, I don't know, some, like this other guy here who's sort of an outlaw type character, and there's this girl who hangs out with them, and it's like it doesn't really pull me into its story, but it's not really trying to. What it's trying to do is pull me into its setting. This is the cop woman. She has like a mohawk, and it does accomplish that. Oh yeah, there's also this like preacher guy here. And this is a short review. There's like not a lot to say because there's not really a lot to the comic. It's like it feels like a portrait of a place rather than a real story. And I like it for what it is, and I'm glad I read this volume, but there's no hook yet. It doesn't make me want to go out and buy volume 2. But, I might anyways, just to see if the story picks up, or, I don't know, if anything like that happens. As for a score, I would give it, the art is so good. The art is really nice. And the writing's good too. It all depends on what you want from a comic, really. If you really need a gripping plot, like, I would say this isn't the comic for you. But if you're really looking for a comic that explores a setting in full and really takes the time, because this might just be the first act, they might just be, laying down the groundwork of this setting so we get to know it, so that when they roll out the real story, like we're more invested, we feel like we're there. But I don't know if that's what they're doing or not. But anyways, for right now, it just feels like a very like a texture kind of comic. It's not the complete product, but I would give it like a, I don't know. I would give it like I'd give it a 6. I mean, yeah, a 6. And you can bump that up if you want if like I said, you want a really textured book.